Fasten your seatbelts because eclipse season is getting a little juicier. We have a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo on March 3rd, 3-3, and I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm Megan Maris, and I'm here to bring you your energy forecast for the weeks of March 3rd through March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, if you're Irish like I am. And we have a lot to talk about in this jam-packed eclipse portal. Already, we just had Mars square Uranus, so you could still be recovering from whatever chaos was surged up. And now we have to go in this total lunar eclipse. So let's talk about the sequence that's been happening with this lunar eclipse, because this is the third of 3 blood moon eclipses. And I don't exactly know what that is, to be honest with you, but it sounds epic. It sounds intense, right? And so the first one that we had was March 14th of last year. Then we had one on September 8th of last year. And this is the final lunar eclipse. And then let's talk about lunar eclipses on their own. They're about endings. They're about completion. They're about one chapter closing. Lunar eclipses are about relationships. So it's you and other people. We had the solar eclipse in Aquarius. That was about ourselves. That was about a north node, where we are going eclipse. And this lunar eclipse in Virgo is saying, this is where we're leaving. This is what we're releasing. This is what we're letting go of. And this is what we're saying no to. Not anymore, honey. No, thank you. So with this whole energy of Virgo, Virgo is all about discernment. It's about purity. It's literally coming after Leo in the end of summer, early fall. And it's about taking all of the harvest and starting to just like sort it out. Like, this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't. So when we think about Virgo energy, it's sometimes overly critical, but it's because of this whole purification process. So if you're in this space right now where you're like, oh my God, I just want to detox. And can we talk about Mercury retrograde, which I haven't even mentioned? We have a full-blown Mercury retrograde in Pisces while we're having this lunar eclipse. So there's a lot happening, but we are just the people to handle it. And so with this whole Mercury retrograde and this lunar eclipse in Virgo, you might feel this energy to detox. Maybe you have been wanting to change your routines. Virgo's all about routine. So changing the routine of your body, changing your diet, changing your physical movement practice. Maybe you want to get up earlier, go to bed earlier. Maybe you're looking through your closet and you're like, this just doesn't feel like this version of me. Virgo is all about getting choosy about what we want to keep. And this eclipse season is saying, this is that final moment, that final purge. So I want you to think about what's been going on in your life. And maybe you can remember, if you can't, look back in your phone pictures. That always helps me. And think about what was going on mid-March of last year. And then maybe something that sort of activated again around early fall. And now this is like coming to a close. We've had the North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo for a while now, a few years. We're headed into the Leo Aquarian polarity coming soon to an eclipse near you. We just had a sneak preview with the solar eclipse, but the whole axis of Pisces and Virgo is all about surrender versus control. So in this lunar eclipse, we have to think about, what are we still trying to control? Where do we feel safe through control? Where do we need to release the ways that we're trying to control ourselves or other people or the environment, because it's a losing battle? And once we can sort of let go of that control and just fully surrender, that's when the magic's going to happen, honey. That's when those like really powerful epiphanies and experiences are going to come through. But we also have to let what's dead be dead. And we have a lot of things that are happening in the collective right now, and there's no way around it. Lots of people are waking up to see the ugliness, the deep underbelly shadow of human consciousness and the enslavement of human consciousness for eons, to say the least. And yeah, and we just have news of war that's breaking out. And anytime you turn on the TV, it's just more bad news, right? And anytime you turn on social media, it's everybody fighting about the bad news is these people's fault. The bad news is this group's fault. And you have to sit and ask yourself, where do I want to participate in this? And how can my contribution help the world? So I'm going to help you break it down right now. If you are contributing to an argument, if you're contributing to speculation, if you're contributing to continuing to say the name of the powers that be that are causing all the troubles and give them more recognition, are you really contributing? Are you? Because at some point, everybody knows what's been unleashed from the shadow underbelly, which is what lunar eclipses do. It's been released. At some point, we know, we've seen it, we're aware, but how much more do we want to speak about it? How much more power do we want to give to it through our fear and through our continued argumentation of the why? At this moment, the why is not as important as the how are we going to alchemize and transmute all of this shadow, all this shadow, all this shadow. And so what I love about Aquarius and Virgo working together is this whole idea of being clinical. This is what I love as an Aquarius rising. It's just like putting on your gloves and letting the emotion out of it. Of course, we're in Pisces season, so everybody's super emotional and compassionate and empathetic, and that's great. But the great thing about this Virgo eclipse is you could not have a better South Node eclipse energy to clean shit up than Virgo. Virgo is just going to go in there, put on the gloves, and be like, all right, so here is what's happening. Those dark energies, they've been doing some really unspeakable stuff. So we are going to take our notebook and we're going to write down, okay, so this is what's been happening in the collective. Wars are over here. Chaos is over here. Great. And can you tell me the names of those people? Okay. And so now, can you tell me who's been affected? Okay. And so now we get our spreadsheets and we get everything out. Everything is all on our handy dandy notebook. And we say, okay, so if we have this much chaos and this many light workers, we're going to need about this percentage of light workers doing X, Y, and Z in order to clean this up. And so it takes us out of this like victim fear mindset into a new level of control. We can't control the chaos. If we try to control the chaos, it will control us. But instead, if we lean back and we say, okay, this is what's happening and this is what's going to take to clean it up, let's get started, then we start to take our power back. But what's interesting is that taking our power back isn't continuing to perpetuate the stories and perpetuate the anger and perpetuate the rage. If you're in the rage and the grief stage, that is a natural and necessary part of the awakening process. Be with yourself. This is a good time to do it. Sometimes you just need to take a day or two and you need to journal it out, because some of us, we're seeing what's happening collectively and it's highlighting things that have happened to us, either in this lifetime or maybe in others or every other. And there may be certain feelings, emotions, trauma that's coming up. And again, we got to get clinical about that. And instead of being like, oh my God, oh, we need to get out of this mess, we take a breath and we say, okay, so we have this this childhood memory coming up, okay, and this particular moment in the collective is triggering this moment at age what, okay, and so then we just start to list it out and we say, okay, so this particular childhood trauma is being activated by this particular seismic, cosmic, humanitarian disempowerment chaos setup, okay? So what are we going to do? Okay. And then we're going to implement our plan. Virgo loves a plan. Virgo loves a plan. So what is your plan? Your plan cannot be to try to control what's happening out there. Good luck, honey. Good luck. It is a shit show. It will forever be a shit show. There will always be bad news. There will always be a reason that you can choose as to why you shouldn't feel good. But you're feeling bad, you're hiding out, it's not helping the world. It's not. So we've got to let go of the beliefs and the fears that it's not okay to celebrate and thrive and be doing amazing when these unspeakable atrocities are occurring. Instead, we've got to realize that we've got to do that. We've got to alchemize it through beauty and creativity, and we've got to implement our plan. So for this lunar eclipse, as you think about what you're ready to release, and maybe you're thinking about it, and maybe the universe, I love how Gala Darling calls it Miss Universe. Miss Universe may just decide for you what is being released, and that could be something very chaotic and very disruptive. And maybe you've already experienced it and you kind of know, or maybe you have a feeling of this like chapter closing because it's something that you have been working through over the last year, but you are not the same person as you were at the beginning of these eclipse cycles in the polarity of Virgo and Pisces. You have learned, you have grown, and honey, you have healed. You have healed. And so this is that moment where we release that final part and we get our nervous system back into a space of stabilization because we deserve it and the world deserves it. The world deserves our joy. One of my favorite mermaid empowerments, and I will find it for you, is joyful. And it is because the mermaid empowerment is my joy heals the whole world. My joy, your joy, our joy heals the world. Not our rage, not our anger, not 50 social posts about the same thing about why whoever's in power sucks. It's just done. It's done. It's done and dusted. And now in this fire horse energy, with Virgo coming in, we have to get our dustpan and we have to get our cosmic gloves on, and we've just got to clean up shit. And whatever that plan is, that plan could be meditation. That plan could be starting to detox in your body, heart, mind, and spirit. Maybe it's cleaning up an addiction. Maybe it's no longer smoking or drinking. Maybe it is figuring out, okay, I keep running to the fridge instead of looking at my own feelings. Maybe it's deciding to really love yourself. Maybe it is taking a new class. Maybe it is sleeping more. Maybe it's going outside and going for walks. Whatever it is, there is a plan that needs to be implemented. And we can implement a worldwide global plan if our individual plans are not in place. It just can't happen. So what we're seeing right now is a bunch of scared people that are trying to fix problems from a dysregulated, unclear space. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. And so if you want to start helping the world, you got to start meditating. You got to start looking at your trauma. You got to start forgiving yourself and others. You think that we're going to end all of these wars and atrocities if we're still mad at our ex and our mom and our old boss and the lady down the street that doesn't pick up her dog poop? It's just not going to happen. We have to understand that our micro universe is a replica of the macro universe. So you maybe individually can't stop the war in Iran right now, but you can stop the war in your mind. You can stop the war in your thoughts. And honey, that has a ripple effect. So when you're up at night thinking about how are we going to stop all these things, ask yourself, where do I need to love myself? Where do I need to forgive myself? Where do I need to love others? Where do I need to forgive others? That's your job. And then you start looking at your immediate environment and thinking, how can I help right now? How can I smile at a person on the street? How can I give a little extra on a tip for generosity? How can I just give people some grace? Because we're all in Mercury retrograde. Communication sucks. Technology is difficult. Everything is not working properly. Everybody's tired. Everybody's just regulated. And we're all going to mess up. We're going to F up. We're going to F up. And then you have to look and think, okay, are we going to go into the shadow side of Virgo and think, there he goes. There she goes, always messing up. She can't do anything right. She's so stupid. She's an idiot. Because you know what? What are we doing? We are spewing more poison. And if you notice yourself in that, you have to just laugh and be like, oh, there's that part of me that feels good by putting other people down. And if you're looking for a flaw in this South Node Virgo eclipse, you will find the flaw. You will find the flaw. But if you are looking for purity, you will find purity. And that's where you've got to figure out, like, where am I going to look? Am I going to look for the love? Am I going to look for the peace? Am I going to look for the healing? Am I going to look for the restoration? Am I going to look for the gratitude? Or am I going to look for the problem? Am I going to look at what's not working? Because that is what you will find. So your mindset is everything, as always. And that's why we're going to move into the cards. We're going to move into the Mermaid Empowerments and talk about which Mermaid Empowerments can help our mindset so that we can stay strong and grounded, and we can help all of these people. Because again, so many people are just waking up. For those of us that have the pleasure, we'll say the pleasure, even if it doesn't feel like the pleasure. If we've had the pleasure of waking up early, resist that arrogant part of you that wants to look at, oh my God, these people are so dumb. Like, of course this has been going on. Why can't they just stop arguing? If they could just stop arguing, then we could just move on and we could have a better new earth. And I just want to leave everybody behind and be in a new earth. These people that are just low vibe, like, I don't want to be around them. Because honestly, like, that is a one-way ticket to Egoville, and Egoville does not lead to an open heart. And the only way to divine consciousness is through an open heart. So we've got to balance out that Virgo need for purity and cleanliness with that Piscean energy of universal love and compassion, and be like, wow, there's a lot of people that had no idea about any of this. There's a lot of people that are just waking up. And I remember when I was first waking up, how scared I was. I remember when I was first waking up, how difficult it was. And honestly, it is difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm your mermaid big sis. I never sugarcoat it for you. But you know what? When we start to really look at this stuff, especially our own stuff, we see why so many people don't want to do it, because it's so much easier to just go along with the story than it is to think, oh my God, everything I've ever believed is not true, and everyone I've ever trusted is untrustworthy, and like, that shit's scary. And so that's probably why a lot of times we get projected on, because it's easier. We're safe people. And that doesn't mean we don't have boundaries, but it does mean we have compassion. All right, so we've got the flow. We have self-mastery, and we have paradise. These are so beautiful. So let's first go through the affirmations. The flow is everything I need flows easily to me. Self-mastery is I am the master of my mindset. And paradise is I create paradise with every thought that I think. And we've gotten this in the past. And this paradise card is saying, no matter what's happening out there in the chaos that really wants to pull you in, you focus on your mindset, your self-mastery. What is self-mastery? It is literally just starting to observe your thoughts and thinking, wow, is this an empowering thought or a disempowering thought? If it's a disempowering thought, oh, I'm choosing a disempowering thought. I love myself. I forgive myself. I'm going to choose again. And then you do that again and again and again. And then you look at your actions, and then you look at your emotions, and you look at your relationships, and you think, wow, is this a disempowering action or an empowering action? Okay, this was a disempowering action. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to do something different. With your relationships, is this a disempowering relationship or an empowering relationship? You get the idea, all of it, right? It's a simple process that goes on forever and ever. And most likely it's been going on for lifetimes. So we've got to give ourselves grace. We've got to give everybody grace. We're all doing the best that we can. We're all good humans inside. I promise you. Let's just look for the good in ourselves and each other. And then this card, the flow, everything I need flows easily to me. We have to recognize that if it comes, let it. If it goes, let it. So this self-mastery, I feel like, is the balancing. Part of it is, you know, recognizing that the flow, when we're in flow, things will happen as they are. The things that are right for us will come. The things that are not are just not the right time or the right person or the right thing. So let it go. Be in flow. Oh, look, I rhymed. Let it go, be in flow. And then paradise is we can't control the outside. We control our thoughts and our thinking. So if you haven't already done my 7-day mental reset, it is absolutely free, of no cost to you. And it starts you in a practice of a sacred morning ritual where every day you start with an intention for the day with one of the mermaid empowerments. This particular journey is for self-love and radiance, which is what my teachings are all about. You've got to love yourself and you've got to shine that light from within. Then you can bring the energy of beauty and bliss. Beauty is the alchemy of taking the shadow, bringing it into beauty. And then bliss is not the high highs and the low lows, but just that peace of being of service, doing the things that you naturally love and enjoy. So Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to reframe your mind, to reset those old thoughts and limiting beliefs. And what better time than a total lunar eclipse? So, well, lots of people are going to be telling you that things are going to be chaotic and only get worse. Okay, bring it on. Because you know what? Like beautiful Louise Hay, our queen of affirmations, always says, I am safe and all is well in my world. And another mermaid empowerment, I'm stronger than all my fear thoughts. So remember, I create paradise with every thought that I think. I am the master of my mindset. Everything I need flows easily to me. If you want that 7-day mental reset, I encourage you to try it. I've literally been doing it over and over again for the past couple weeks. And it's just so great to have like an intention every day. And you'll notice that as you start to work with the mermaid empowerments, that it's like a self-initiated journey. So whatever the lesson is, like for example, if the flow was your lesson of the day, all of the experiences that come to you are going to teach you about how to be in the flow. So these mermaid empowerments are ascension level training, but it's in a way of doing it through your mindset, doing it through joy, doing it through fun, doing it in a way that feels good rather than disempowering or creating more suffering or putting us in a place of lack and glamorizing lack because, oh my gosh, you should be talking about this or you should be talking about that. Like, no, not all of us are meant to talk about that. Some of us are meant to bring joy and love into the world to balance it out, and that's okay too. So if you want support, you can get that 7-day mental reset. You can also book a reading with me in the link below, and you can purchase the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck. Right now it is print to order. So I love you so much. I hope that you have a beautiful week, a few weeks until I see you next time for the energy forecast. And always, always remember that you are the artist of your fairy tale life. And again, I'm Megan Maris, also known as Megan Mermaid, your big sis for self-love, radiance, beauty, and bliss. I love you. Have a great day.